Welcome, my name is Transleona. I'm a raccoon girl on Twitch. The following is a recording of one of my latest streams on Twitch. Sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Someone's threatening the treaty? That's no good at all. What did the letter say, exactly? Please have a look. To all parties involved in the non-aggression pact, immediately back down from this act of deceit and false compromise. Should you not, a great disaster will be visited upon you. What in the... Now that isn't very open to interpretation, is it? Is this the entire letter? Yes, that's the entire thing. As you may have noticed, there is no name or any other indication of a sender. Normally I'd simply dismiss it as a prank, however, something about the situation makes you believe it's more than a bad joke, yes? Yes, it's the volume of letters sent, you see. The first arrived at Leaston Fortress. Copies were then sent to the Airship Company, Gransel Cathedral, Hotel Roenbaum, and the Liberal News Service. Then copies arrived at both the Erebonian and Calvard embassies, the Urbay Royal Villa, and even Gransel Castle itself. 9 letters in total. Who'd send that many letters? Yeah, that'd be a lot of work for a prank in poor taste. I can see why the army would start to get concerned. Desk counter is now set and prepared for Friday. Oh, awesome, Xena! I'm guessing Renee was a guest character in Langrisser? Like, a crossover character and not actually part of the game story? It's strange, though. The Airship Company, the Liberal News, and even the Hotel and Cathedral. None of these locations have anything to do with the signing, do they? They are not totally unrelated, to be honest. The Airship Company shall be sending out charter vessels to ferry the Imperial and Republican officials here. They will, of course, be staying at the Roenbaum. Furthermore, the church, or specifically Archbishop Current of the Cathedral, has been asked to be an observer at the signing. And the Liberal News has been preparing a special report on the pact and signing for weeks. So they are all connected, somehow. So do we have any idea who's behind it? That could be a difficult question to answer. This is an international matter, meaning anyone from Liberal, Erebonia, or Calvert could be responsible. Yes, the Warhawks in either the Empire or the Republic, for starters. It could even be someone from another country entirely who isn't happy to see all 3 countries working together. Of course, there are plenty of suspects in Liberal as well. And we can't forget the obvious answer, the Society. So what will we be investigating, Colonel? Right then, the mission. We would like for you to investigate all the locations that have received the letters and see if anyone has any further leads. Her, Estelle, Joshua, Olivier, and one more I don't think you have met yet. And I don't want to spoil her. Okay. When we meet her, or him, you can let me know. Minus Leaston and Urbay, that is. Handle those. The other 7 locations are yours. For the Airship Company, Gransel Cathedral, Hotel Roenbaum, the Liberal News, and the Erebonian Embassy, the Calvardian Embassy, and Gransel Castle. That will involve a bit of walking. More to the point, uninformed soldiers asking around would attract a great deal of unwanted attention. Now that you lack an intelligence division, it makes sense to ask the Guild to help investigate such matters. As embarrassing as the situation is, you're exactly right. Without a functional intelligence division, we're very limited in what we can do. However, the new general plan from the top brass is to have the Guild help us with as many tasks as possible. This is simply one case of that. Oh, really? Thanks a heap, Dad. Currently at 18. Now then, take it as a sign of Cassius's faith in us. I must admit, it was my request to ask for you, however. I have been placed in charge of this defense of the capital region until the signing ceremony. I would like as much information as I can possibly obtain in order to prepare a proper defense. Currently at 18, which is a lot less than Leona. Can I ask you to take this job? Oh, well, I do want to help. But we're really kinda hip deep in another case at this point. That girl, right. As your report on the situation now. Estelle explained the situation with Renee being abandoned at the Urbay Royal Villa. I see, yes, an abandoned child is a problem you cannot simply ignore. Why would anyone do such a thing? kind of freaking me out too. I actually met her parents once, briefly. They seemed like this really thoughtful, loving couple. They adore Renee, from what I saw. I have to think something really, really serious happened to them to make them leave her. Possibly. They may have gotten entangled in something that wanted to keep their child out of it. I do see an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone, however. Huh? Renee and her parents are foreigners, remember? You'll need to inquire at the hotel and the embassies regardless. Hey, I think I know where you're going with this. Ah, when all these places were threatened, that is rather handy in an unfortunate way. The airship company may have travel records for them as well. I'll put out a general alert to the army post to watch out for her parents as well. Should they pass through any of the gate checkpoints, we should know. Thanks, Colonel. Sounds like you can take the job after all. Colonel, you may leave the investigation itself to us. I presume you will want the final report in paper and in person, however. Yes, we prefer to avoid telephones to avoid any risk of interception. You'll be able to find me at the Herbe Royal Villa beginning today, actually. I'm sorry for the extra trouble, but could I ask you that you bring the final report there in person? Sure. We'll see you at the villa once we know what's up. I wish you luck then. Sid, what is this, Final Fantasy? After seeing Colonel Sid out, Estelle's team decided to split up to investigate. Estelle, Zin, Olivier, and Chloe were to head to the embassies, Granceville Castle, and the Liberal News, while Scheherazade would investigate the Cathedral, Hotel, and Airship Company on her own. Okay, we'll be heading out. Tita, Renee, sorry to leave you two behind. Oh, it's okay. We're going out shopping. What? So sorry, Estelle. Renee really wants to visit the department store. Why, that's not how I remember things, Tita. As I recall, you're the one who said she wanted to look at all the stuffed animals. Aw, Renee! Well, I know you're bored, Renee, but since I'm not sure we'll find out something about your parents, I'd like for you to wait here. Oh, come on. That's so not fair. Double doe-eye stairs? I don't really see a problem, Estelle. If Tita's with her, it should be safe enough to let them go out shopping and around the city. I guess so. Okay, Tita, Renee, we'll be back by this evening, so you need to be back by then too, okay? And the capital's a really big place, so don't get lost. We will, and we won't. Renee, let's go. After you. See you, everyone. Haha, they sure become best friends. Yeah, it's really easy to become friends at that age. Man, youth, I feel all old now. Although, Tita and Renee together. Why does that combination send a chill of doom down my spine? Oh, I think they'll be fine. Tita's kind of easy to push around, though. I get the feeling Renee might try to drag her into all kinds of stuff. That might be a good point. Ah yes, Elnan, did you find out the names of Renee's parents? It took a little insistent asking, but she eventually gave them. Her father is a trader from Crossbell. Harold and Sophia Hayworth are their names. Trader from Crossbell, Harold and Sophia Hayworth. Okay, got it written down. As do I. So let's start asking around about them and these letters. So remember, Estelle's group will visit the embassies, Granceville Castle, and the Liberal News. Zin, Olivier will be counting on your aid at the embassies. Fear not, my brilliant smile can open any door. We'll make sure you see the ambassadors. Your Highness, your help would be invaluable at Granceville Castle. Please introduce Estelle to whoever can best help our investigation. Of course. As for the Liberal News, I believe you yourself have an in for that, Estelle. Yeah, I can bug Niall about it. He kinda owes me at this point. That leaves the Cathedral, the Archbishop Company, and the Rowan Palm. Scheherazade, good luck with those. I shouldn't have too much trouble. I'll try to be quick. So let's go. Time to get questioning then. Where should we start? Don't think it matters too much. If you want to go to the Calvardian Embassy, you've got a free pass with me around. I can introduce you to Elsa whenever. I, of course, can get us into the Yerbonian Embassy. They should be glad to escort us if I introduce myself at the gate. And of course, I rather doubt it'll be very hard for me to get us into Granceville Castle. It might be wise to simply go straight there and speak with grandmother. I kinda doubt the Liberal News will give us any trouble either. So, let's just pick a direction and go. What? At least someone respects me. Leona is always bullying me, so I get no respect. Oh my god, Xana. Tarnishing my good name. And I respect you very much. Fucking made you choke. You did. I bought a new rod to replace my old one recently. I've been using the same rod since I started fishing, so I thought it was about time for an upgrade. Now then, what to do with my old rod? My husband only uses new, top-class rods, you see, so I had to keep up. Thinks the elk. You fish, don't you? Huh? Well, some. How did you know? Well then, allow me to offer you this. Oh, wow, so thank you. Make sure to catch plenty of fish with it. Alright. Let's go talk to the museum. Ah, History Museum. I really have not been able to give it a chance. Also, I have had 109 losses in battle in this game so far. And I have fled 285. Hello there, how can I help you? Better yet, how can we help you? We're with the Bracer Guild, sir. Oh, excellent. I was hoping someone would come soon. Let's waste no time getting down to business. Yeah, sure. So what was stolen? About that. Did you notice anything off here? Off? This is the airship gallery, right? Hey, now that you mention it, something seems to be missing. You're right, Estelle. There's a portrait of the Arsail on this wall, as I recall. Now that you mention it, Chloe, I do remember something like that being here. How could I forget? I saw the portrait myself while touring the capital. Guess we know why they called us now. The portrait of the Arsail was stolen, was it? Precisely that. It was there this morning, but around noon or so, I'd noticed that it was gone. His card was on the wall in its place. Oh, beauteous princess and her loyal companions. The image of the proud white falcon has fallen into my hands. Should you seek it, then answer my challenge. The first key is in the resident of the Age General. Search the onlooker of time. Sigh him again. Haha. Our rivalry burns brighter still. Yep, sounds like Phantom Thief LeBlanc, alright. You guys told me about him, but I thought you were exaggerating. You already know who the criminal is? That's what I call reassuring. I have every confidence that you'll crack this case. He won't let you down. We'll be back before you know it. Ooh. Artifacts. Medieval loom. The church manuscript. Church ritual items. Very religious here. Tetracyclic tower outer wall segment. They took a... Wow, that is not how you do archaeology. They just take stuff out of dungeons? Wow. Not cool. Not cool. There's only a few games that I would judge people for playing. Alright, so the first one was about the general and the onlooker of time. So the only games that I really judge people for playing are League of Legends, because I've just had so many bad experiences in it. And no. And the other game would be not really a specific game, but a category of games. Any mobile game that's like really predatory. Like if you play a lot of really predatory mobile games, like the Dungeon Keeper mobile. So this is the age general. It's probably General Morgan. In this case, is this the onlooker of time? I say it's likely. We'll need to check inside. It just... I don't know. It just kind of gets me. Still asked and received permission from the owners of the house to investigate the clock. Upon inspection, they found a card stuck to the back. The second key is in the city. Seek the symbol perched on the ground. I think something like that was in this house. No, this guy isn't the type to harm people who aren't involved in his weird plans, so don't worry. Best to close up tight at night just in case there's any more mischief, though. Yes, we'll be careful. Alright, shall we continue? Predatory mobile games are the ones that are like... They push you to buy currency to like break out of a time gate. In Dungeon Keeper mobile, your first few actions where they have like time blocks on them, but then after you get a bit into a mission, you'll get stuff like digging out this chunk of granite will take 4 real-life days unless you pay $5 for currency or something. It was really bad, and people who like will actually spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on that stuff, it just makes me think, you know, there are better games for cheap. The symbol perched on the ground, huh? This white falcon symbol seems suspect to me. The bird is a symbol of liberal, so it would stand out. Let's have a look. There's a card stuck to the base of the iron fence. The third key is in the foreign manse. Examine the will of the Blue Knight. Alright, we got it. But what does the Blue Knight mean? Is he talking about the Royal Guard? They do certainly wear blue uniforms. I think not. It says the foreign manse, so I don't think the Royal Guard makes sense. More than anything else, it wouldn't be beautiful, so we should try something else. Is that right? I did spend... Wow, Xana. I did spend a lot of money on Star Citizen, and I also spent a lot of money on League of Legends. Hey, how goes? Huh, Sin, holy crap. Wasting time in Liberalville again? Haha, something like that. So I'd say hello to Elsa, and I have something I need to talk to her about. Is she in? I haven't seen her leave, so I guess she's around. Oh, who's with you? Gotta ask, you know, policy. Oh, they're helping me with some guild work. I'm going to introduce them to Elsa. Huh? Well, okay. They're with you, Zen? I guess I can let them in. I used to spend like $20 to $50 a week on League skins. Ooh, magnificent. Wow, this is the Calvardian embassy? I didn't expect it to be quite so fancy. And yet it's a bit exotic as well. I really like it. Well, quite a few people from even farther east have settled in Calvard, you know? They've had an impact on our culture too. Anyway, Elsa's office is in the furthest room on the second floor. Alrighty. Ah, Zin? Hey, I'm back. Might end up borrowing a room, so I'll be in your care if that happens. Of course. I'll have everything squeaky clean for you. Like I said, I used to be really bad about it. Oh, you all are. Why, if it isn't Zin? Counselor, a pleasure. All together here, are they your guests? Yes, they're co-workers with the guild. Are you here about the threat letter? It's as you guessed, it's a request from the Royal Army. Do you have any ideas? Threat letters like that aren't exactly rare in the Republic. To be honest, I barely paid it any heed at all. True, there are a lot of radical groups in the country. Yes, they always cause trouble when the issue of immigration comes up. Well, this time at least I can't say anything. Why don't you see that Ambassador Cochrane thinks first? Yes, we'll go do that right now, if you'll pardon us. Yeah, I can't play Genshin or Honkai. I spent like $300 on Honkai in my first go-round. Okay, now I gotta read a bunch of books. Chapter 1, The Puppeteer's Apprentice. Long, long ago, in a certain little village, there lived a young boy. He was some 13 years old. His name was Pedro. Pedro was a small boy and not very strong, but his fingers were dexterous enough to astonish anyone. When he moved his whittling knife, wooden blocks would turn into birds and wonderful creatures as if by magic. The boy spent his days with these crafts as his life. One day, strange travelers came by the village. An old man with sharp eyes and a large man in black garb casually strolled into the general store, whereupon their eyes were drawn to a wooden bird so cunningly carved that one could almost hear its wings beat the air. It was Pedro's latest creation. After inquiring with the owner of the general store, the old man and his escort came upon the little house where Pedro lived, and the first words they had for him were, "Prepare your things, we're leaving for the city." Pedro's eyes widened in shock at the order. "What is this?" he cried. Who are you people? His eyes fell on the large man in black. Pedro's words caught in his throat. The old man chuckled. "So you did notice. I thought you would." The old man's fingers stretched transparent threads. He gestured, and the black-garbed man bowed gracefully. The immense man was a clockwork puppet. "He is the Black Priest," the old man said. "My finest work." His wrinkled face creased further as he smiled slyly. He was the famous master Capri Oratoria, a puppeteer known throughout Luna. Oratoria fixed Pedro with a beady eye. You could craft something even greater than this. Doesn't that mere thought excite you? No more words were needed. Tossing his carving knife into a sack, Pedro fixed his cap on his head and greeted his new master by saying farewell to his old home. Wonder if I moved everyone to K-Baby jail if they noticed. The Blue Knight. The years passed swiftly for Pedro at Oratoria's workshop on the outskirts of the capital. Under the tutelage of puppeteer Capri, he learned the techniques to build clockwork puppets and the skills to make them dance and perform. After 3 years of training, he completed his own masterpiece, a doll of noble bearing dressed in armor with a gleaming blue helm. If Capri's masterwork, the Black Priest, was a martial arts type focused on maneuverability, then Pedro's blue puppet was a well-balanced swordsman. Its counterattacks as it turned aside the Black Priest's punches and kicks were the very image of a graceful knight. What will you call it? Capri asked. Pedro had no answer. He had been so focused in its creation that he hadn't actually thought of one. Ultimately, it would come to be called the Blue Knight before he could name it. It was some time after Pedro constructed the Blue Knight, the king who ruled from the city would pass on from their world. The king had long been ill, so there was little shock, and the mourning period passed smoothly. And so, in accordance with the law, the king's only daughter, Princess Tia, would ascend to the throne as queen. Gonna mudball you, Vanna. Blue? I'm gonna fucking ass off. On the road home, Pedro visited the city accompanied by the Blue Knight. With the crowning ceremony approaching, the streets were abuzz with excitement. As he strolled the city center, people passing by cast strange look his way. What a noble knight he must be. I'm sure he must be quite the famous hero. Do you suppose he's attending the crowning ceremony? Trailing quietly behind the Blue Knight, Pedro could hardly keep himself from doing a little dance. It felt like a step towards Capri, who could control the Black Priest as if it was human itself. Of course, at the same time, he found it annoying that others thought him the servant of his own creation. It was on his way back to the workshop outside of town that Pedro's humming was interrupted by a scream. "No, please stop," cried a voice from the woods. "No one's gonna save you," a man growled. "Give up and give in." From the looks of things, some thuggish men had a girl cornered. Dainty and clad in a white dress, the girl's searching eyes sought desperately for a way to flee from the danger. Pedro squared his shoulders, and lowering his cap to shadow his eyes, he set his fingers in motion. The Blue Knight charged forward. A righteous display. Upon seeing the Blue Knight appear like a shadow from the heart of the forest, the men harassing the girl could only gape in amazement. "Leave the girl and leave this place," the Blue Knight declared from the depths of its helmet. This was the ventriloquism that the old master had drilled into his head as a secret of puppeteering. Who the hell are you? Get out of here before you get hurt. Fools! With a jab from its clockwork fist, the Blue Knight knocked back the man holding the woman and pivoted swiftly to kick both men away. "Are you hurt, young lady?" No, I am well." "Good. 'Twould be best if you stood back." At last, the Blue Knight drew its sword. "Welcome back, you dirty girl." Swathed in black, the third man, who seemed like the leader, approached. "Not bad for a wanderer." Pedro eyed the new arrival, the black garb man's stance suggesting he knew something of proper swordsmanship. "Enough playing, though. Hand over the girl and I'll see you rewarded." "To ignore one's duties is to be without courage. I fear I cannot do that," said the Blue Knight. "Well then, die!" screamed the black garb man and attacked. The man in black attacked. From the upper right, he feinted as if to strike the shoulder, but twisted his wrist and charged to a slash across the body. Pedro, having read the feint, pulled at his strings. The Blue Knight stepped back a half step, dodging the horizontal slash, then smacked the outstretched blade, knocking it from his foe's hands. Impossible! The black garb man rubbed his numb hand and paled as the Blue Knight shifted slightly. As if it was a sign, the thugs turned and scattered like baby spiders. The girl gave a sigh of relief and curtsied. "Thank you very much." She is still a bit shaky, but her manner was that of a noble woman. "It is the duty of every knight to protect. Pay it no mind." "Ah, are you from foreign lands, perhaps?" Suddenly Pedro was struck with a moment of whimsy. "I am the Turing Knight, Pedro. The boy here is my servant," he made the puppet reply. Huh? The girl finally seemed to notice him. She faced him with an expression of bewilderment. However, Pedro was no less surprised. Indeed, his shock was many, many times greater than hers. Cool, turquoise blue eyes, that familiar, achingly lovely form. It was the same girl he had seen at ceremonies and from the balcony of the palace. Your Highness? He blurted. The girl, wrapped in pure white, was the very girl who had just lost her father and was to be crowned in the capital. It was Princess Tia. The melancholy of the princess. Would you be willing to guard me for these 2 weeks until the crowning ceremony? In the royal throne room, Princess Tia asked this question with a serious expression. Of course, she asked, if not for Pedro, but of the Blue Knight. Have you not a royal guard? Surely you would be far better off with them as your protectors. Unable to say that to the Blue Knight was a puppet, Pedro followed as far as the throne room. He shivered, sensing even more trouble about to come. The royal guard that protect the capital are... They obey the words of my uncle, Duke Gaston. Even before they abandoned me and fled, Princess Tia said softly. Duke Gaston was a man surrounded by bad rumors. It was an open secret that he took advantage of the previous king's illness to line his own purse. The man in black you confronted, Sir Pedro. I am sure that was my uncle's second in command. All of it was planned. Princess Tia's sky blue eyes clouded. At this point, the kindly Pedro could hardly refuse the role of escort. Understood, I shall accept your request, he had the Blue Knight reply. Princess Tia's smile was like the sun breaking through the clouds. Thank you, Sir Knight. Thank you so very much. She turned towards Pedro as well. And you too, good servant. May I ask for your name? Pedro hid his eyes once more in the shadow of his cap. I'm no one worthy of naming myself. What makes the darkness shake? That girl has... Oh, wait. Protecting the princess proved harder than predicted. After all, almost every day there were new ne'er-do-wells sent after her. Eventually, partially due to their closeness in age, Princess Tia and Pedro, still plain the servant, came to speak very openly to each other. While glad for the princess's trust, he didn't know what he would do if the truth of the Blue Knight came out. Pedro was beside himself with worry. On the other side of the city, a letter was delivered to a certain puppet workshop. What is that boy doing? Guessing the circumstances from the very vague statements in Pedro's letter, Capri sighed and gave him a bitter smile. However, perhaps this is a good chance, he mused. Pedro was ever bright and straight as an arrow, yet his thoughts were always of puppets. Partially due to living outside the city, he had no friends he could call close, and it hardly seemed as if he felt lonely for it. While the role of escort to the princess was perhaps beyond his station, if it proved a chance to awaken more human feelings in his apprentice, Capri could only wish him the best with a parent's heart. That girl has the devil's own luck. In a dim room lit by flickering candle flames, Duke Gaston cursed hatefully. He felt not a moment of sympathy or care for his niece. At this rate, she shall see the crowning ceremony, he snarled. This night, Pedro, can't we handle him? He's the first man so skilled that we've encountered. We fear that even if the royal guard attacked at once, it might be difficult. Calling the shame of having his sword knocked from his hands, Duke Gaston's second in command bit his lip. Still, we have nothing to fear, he said. While a bit of an odd character, we have hired a skilled assassin to handle this, my lord. Odd? What sort of person is he? Thanks for watching. You can also catch my streams on twitch.tv/transleona to join in on the fun. Can't wait to see you there.